so we will be recording. We will be recording this call, and so please, if you haven't already, mute your microphone. If you want, please turn on your video. We would love to see your faces. I know, unfortunately, we're all in these like square boxes, but it's always great to see everybody's face on the call. And then if you have any questions, we will be taking Q&A at the end of the presentation. So please go ahead and put any questions in the chat, and we'll be making note of those for our Q&A session. And then we're also going to have a polling at the end of the call to really talk about any support opportunities and really help get you connected to Friends of the Earth and the various different topics that we talk about today. So please stay on for that poll. Yeah, and then just a quick rundown of our agenda. We will be starting off with Michael, who's going to really kind of talk about his amazing school food program. We have some exciting news about Dod Fresh. So our consultant, Leah Smith, is going to be, sharing that wonderful news with all of you. And then we have the LunchAssist team, who is so generous to be presenting on some emergency food waivers and really how to make procurement happen during this really challenging time. And then we're going to kind of wrap up the call with some really amazing suppliers and really providing some solutions and some opportunities for school food service teams to connect with some really great suppliers and producers. But just really quickly, I'm just going to spend a couple minutes just introducing myself and our team. I work for Friends of the Earth, and we really work to rapidly transition our food system to one that is sustainable, healthy, and just. And specifically, I work with our California climate-friendly school food team to work with K through 12 school districts and really help them to make any transitions and shifts towards healthy, plant-forward, and organic menu offerings. So we provide a lot of technical assistance, support with marketing materials, students engagement opportunities, and really just helping to connect school districts with resources and advocacy opportunities to really make those shifts to healthy and climate-friendly menuing, which is what we're going to talk about today. So when I say climate-friendly, when I say climate-friendly, I just want to really quickly kind of go over that term. We really have, at Friends of the Earth, we have a three-part definition of climate-friendly school food. The first part is school food that uses a low carbon and water footprint. So really school food that is more plant-based or plant-forward and uses a combination of less meat and better meat. I think with for example, like a 3-bean chili might substitute the meat with more beans and corn rather than meat. So that's really what we mean by plant forward, whereas plant-based is strictly plant-based menu offerings. And then, today we're going to be talking and highlighting a lot of organic producers. So the second part of our definition is really food that's produced using organic farming practices. That's really healthy for our soil and our planet. And then lastly, food that reduces food packaging and food waste. So that's kind of our definition. And we have a couple of wonderful, awesome people here on the call. This is, I just highlighted a few people from our climate-friendly school food team. And really, we're here to offer plant-based recipe development and technical assistance. So if there's any school food service teams on the call that really want to help to shift to more plant-based menuing, we can definitely provide that support. We have a lot of really popular plant-based recipes that we can provide you with and provide support on those menu shifts. And then, we also really help support organic and local procurement. So if school districts are interested in connecting with more local organic farmers and producers, we can definitely help support that. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. And then, of course, I think we combine that with student engagement opportunities and marketing opportunities to really make sure that community and students are engaged. I think more and more students are really passionate about climate change. And so climate-friendly school food is a really great opportunity to engage with students in climate-friendly menu offerings and how that can be a solution for our planet and our Earth. Next slide. Just really quickly sharing some upcoming opportunities that we have this upcoming spring. We will be doing a peer-to-peer learning series. So if there are school food service teams on this call that really want to share with one another and learn best practices from one another. We will be setting up a series in the spring to really facilitate conversations around how to shift more climate-friendly menu offerings. And then if anyone is interested in shifting to more plant-based offerings and there's a financial barrier, we do have microgrant opportunities that will be available in the spring for school districts that want to apply for funding for shifting to more plant-based offerings. So we're really excited to be offering that. We just got some funding for that support, and we're excited to be supporting school food teams with that. And then we'll also have some new marketing materials and resources. And lastly, I think we're working on, on the policy front, we're working with a number of school food initiatives with Child Nutrition Reauthorization Act coming up. We're also engaged with USDA on a number of fronts. And so we always love to hear school food voices on those calls with our legislators and our Congress members. So if you are interested in some of our advocacy work, please feel welcome to reach out to me. We'll also do a poll at the end of the call. And if you are interested in getting involved in that, we would love to plug you in. And then for all of these opportunities, we share a newsletter out every quarter. And so we try not to spam everybody, but we do want to we have some really great resources, and we will be sharing all of these opportunities in our newsletter. So please feel welcome to sign up for our newsletter. I think Emma is dropping the link in the chat. So, all right, that's all of our stuff. And now I think we can really kind of talk about why we're here today, which is to really talk about this supply chain challenge that school food service teams are experiencing. And I think we're hearing here at Friends of the Earth, but then also with other partners that we're talking with, I think we're hearing from a number of school districts on challenges around supply chain issues and really with the sourcing issues and also with labor issues as well. But I think specifically with the supply chain issues, we're hearing this challenge, but at the same time, I think we're hearing from a lot of school districts that are sourcing more local and organic, and they're having a lot less issues and challenges. So we're going to really highlight today some ideas and solutions to really shorten that supply chain and support more local economies. I think, when we can invest in our local economy and we're also investing in organic, we're really helping our planet and our children's health. And so we want to provide some real tangible opportunities for you to get connected with local organic and suppliers and producers that are available to help you and have product available. So we're going to be providing some real tangible solutions to that. So with that all said, I think the first, I think what better way to kick off the call than to hear from Michael. Michael is with Morgan Hill Unified School District, and I think he's here to really share his story and the great things that he's doing with his district. So Michael, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Nora. So I just want to give you a brief introduction about who I am, because I think it really shaped the lens in which I looked through food. I'm not a director. I am a chef to the core, to my bone. I was a chef since I could start driving a car. I got into school food about 4 years ago. I was a chef working for Google. I was a corporate chef for Google for a little under a decade. I was an executive chef at a private country club for just under a decade. I had worked at high-end French restaurants, French bistros. I was a pastry personnel at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco. So really all of my food experiences have been around always sourcing the best ingredients possible. And so when I got into school food and I left Google, I brought with me kind of Google's approach to how you source food in a really thoughtful manner. One of my favorite stories I like to tell is the chicken story at Google. Google had a long time relationship with Mary's Chicken. And unfortunately, the buying power of Google with the cafes really prohibited Google from purchasing Mary's chickens once they reached a certain threshold. It actually threatened the whole Mary's ecosystem with Google could just buy out all of Mary's, which is great. Unfortunately, that would mean that no other restaurant in the entire Bay Area would ever be able to buy chickens from Mary's again. So Google had to take a step back and actually eventually went to Tyson and said, we would like to buy chickens from you, but here's what you have to change for us to even start it. So really that was kind of inspiring to say like, okay, we can change how the system works. When I got to Morgan Hill, the program really needed a lot of work from my perspective, from that chef perspective. Yes, they were meeting all of the compliances with menu preparation and hitting all of the targets that you need to hit, but the food was not interesting. And from where I had come from, it didn't seem like it was that exciting to kids. I'm a relatively new father. I have a 7-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old daughter. So I've always made cooking kind of the center of when I'm home and I'm cooking with them to make them a part of that. So I felt like I really needed the kids in the school district to have that same excitement that my kids have at home with cooking with me. And so two of the greatest connections that I made are on this call right here. The first was with LunchAssist, meeting Jennifer McNeil back when Jennifer McNeil was LunchAssist was very inspiring to me. We took a look at how the process worked with procuring food, how we were serving food, how were we marketing food. Coming from Google, they're just a marketing giant. I mean, that's really what they are. They're a search engine that drives its revenue from marketing. So to watch Google from the inside market its own culinary program and food program was definitely some things that I took from that. The other connection that I made was with Friends of the Earth, with Leah and Nora, reaching out to them about how can I find farms. Like I'm not a director. I don't know how directors do things, but I know how to do things in many other fields. So how can I start to make those connections? And so local and organic food was something I really wanted to get my hands on quickly. We serve about 8,300 kids. We have 13 schools. My staffing was completely restructured with Jen's help, LunchAssist. We moved all of the labor out of the production kitchens, out of the central kitchens, I should say, and shifted all the labor into all the elementary schools. This allowed me to start some speed scratch cooking and a little bit of scratch cooking. It also allowed me to get produce to those sites and let the sites process that produce and serve it to the kids in a little bit fresher manner. So the food supply chain is challenged. We know that. That's a gimme. Everyone here has probably received force majeure letters or a letter from a vendor saying that their prices just went up 20% or that something's not available or the product that they wanted to order a month in advance is no longer available. And so really what I wanted to do was kind of get away from relying on those things, and sourcing things through local or organic farms was a sure victory to achieve that goal. And so what we did to really get towards that was to work with Friends of the Earth and say, how many farms are in my area that we can start buying from? I went to my CBO and said, we're just going to start buying locally. We shifted some dollars out of some of various funding streams and moved them towards some of the local farms that we started to make our connections with. The local farms are great because usually it just takes a handshake or a phone call or an email and they'll start sending you stuff right away. Really easy to order product from them. But also just wanted to say that it's not always all about the local farms. The USDA through the Waivers program has a lot of local ingredients there that you could help to market your program. You could find out where that farm is when it says local on the Waivers website, and you could just market that it came from, whatever city or county it may have been grown in. And I found that was a really great solution to the global supply chain issues. Local farms don't have to deal with shipping things great distances. If your farm is only 50 miles away from you or 30 miles or 10 miles, it worked out incredibly well for our district to begin working with some of the farms that we quickly made connections with help with Friends of the Earth. You can go to the next slide. There's a couple of farms I just wanted to quickly highlight. Live Earth Farms is probably our #1 farm that we purchased from right now. They're 32 miles away from us. Essentially, they're kind of up and over a little mountain range that's here in Morgan Hill. We get apples and tomatoes and strawberries and blackberries, radishes, fennel, celery, not just kind of little like 1s and 2s of really nice things, but they have a really great catalog of things that they grow. That middle photo there is they grow apples and they kind of grow them kind of diagonally. It helps the farmers pick the apples faster, which I thought was fascinating. My team was able to take a really fun tour, which I felt was from an educational side for my team. I thought that was incredibly important to let the team know where we're getting things. And these are the men and women that are picking the food and driving the tractors and driving the trucks. That was incredibly inspiring to my team. You can go ahead to the next slide if you'd like. Buying local helped with our resiliency. As prices began to soar, my price of celery has remained constant. And I know that if you're like me and skeptical in any way, shape, or form like me, you're probably thinking, yeah, but organic food, when you go to Whole Foods, it's so expensive. And while that may be true, if you are a good negotiator with your local farm, you can negotiate a fairly fair price. And remind them that they're not driving great distances to deliver the food. Oftentimes working with schools, they already know that we have budget challenges and they're willing to work with you on pricing. And the product is always available. We have no problems. I've never gotten a phone call from JSM or Spinaka or Live Earth Farms saying that the product wasn't available, because they send you the shopping list, you order it the next day, and they deliver it the next day. So it works very seamlessly. And then let's just talk about taste. I mean, the local produce, it just blows your taste buds right off the tongue. It tastes better, it looks better. The kids love it. We've seen increased sales. All of my schools are breaking records with how many meals that they're serving each day, whether it's breakfast and lunch. And that's been incredibly great to go back to my boss and say, yeah, you know, that might be a little bit more expensive or it might be basically the same, but now where our participation has gone up. Next slide. Spinaka Farms is kind of new. They're a giant farm here in Morgan Hill. They sell big numbers of pounds of spinach and onions and things like that. But what Spinaka was really excited about was they have this whole series of vegetable powders. Zach, who runs the program, is a 3rd-generation farmer for Spinaka, and he's been working on making his powders credit towards the vegetable. So he's been working with the USDA on that. So we've been able to use the powders and blend them into smoothies or use them in a parfait or something like that to really give the kids kind of a unique breakfast at our high schools. How am I doing on time? Am I okay? Just short? All right. Lastly, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because it's probably worth its own webinar. I was able to bully my school district into letting me spend $100 and something thousand, and we've purchased our own vertical hydroponic shipping container farm. 320 square feet of vertical hydroponic grow systems. It replaces about 2 acres worth of conventional farming. It runs on 5 gallons of water a day. We've hooked it up to our high school solar panels. And when this thing is cranking out lettuce weekly, we'll be able to produce about 150 pounds of lettuce a week. And for my district, that'll do about 70% of my lettuce needs, which is the definition of hyperlocal. Hyperlocal is a pretty old word. I know it gets used a little bit now, like it's a new thing, but Alice Waters back in the Chez Panisse days was working with farms and doing farm to fork long before many people caught on to it. So I'm happy to jump on that train, and we've started our own farm, and probably a little bit more to come on that. So really one big takeaway I just wanted to kind of close with. I knew nothing about the school food system. I knew nothing about being a director. I was a chef. I was just passionate about food. I made the right connections. Many of them are right here on this call with you. If you're feeling like you don't know how to do it, I'm here as just a dumb chef that only knows how to measure things in cups and ounces, and I want to really sell the fact that you can do it, even if you just start with one small farm or one small handshake with someone to help you get that started.
Great, thank you so much. I think we have up next is Leah.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Leah Smith, and I am a consultant with Friends of the Earth working on the Organic School Food Initiative. And I'm so thrilled that you're all here today. The Organic School Food Initiative started in 2020, and our goal is really to help food service directors like Michael with their organic procurement goals. And it's been so exciting to work with Michael because he's so enthusiastic and open and willing to try new things. And so we've had a great time just connecting Michael with organic farms and seeing that take off. He really wanted to partner with organic farms directly. So we met him where his interests were and helped him in that way. But of course, there's many ways to procure organic foods, including working with distributors, growing your own, as Michael's also doing. And I'm going to talk about that in my presentation today. So my presentation is a little bit about organic procurement and also this exciting Dod Fresh announcement. But before I go into that, I want to tell you a little bit about the Organic School Food Roadmap. And the Organic School Food Roadmap was developed in partnership with actually several people who are on this call today. We did a bunch of research and interviews with several school food service directors, with organic suppliers, with distributors, with organic producers. And we created a roadmap to help food service directors and food service professionals navigate this organic school food supply chain. We wanted to make it easy to give you the tools that you need so that you can make small steps. We don't expect complete conversion overnight or anything like that, but small steps towards meeting your own goals. Why did we develop this roadmap? I just shared a little bit. We wanted to offer some practical tools, and I'll share a little bit about those practical tools, but we also wanted to make it an easy choice. Right now, with the barriers that the supply chain, that schools are facing with the supply chain, actually purchasing local and organic is turning out to be easier. So this is that crisis opportunity moment where the opportunity is there to really invest in local and organic and climate-friendly school food. Some of you might wonder why organic? Why is organic so important? Some of you might feel really comfortable with answering that question, but I wanted to hit on some points. And of course, the roadmap covers this in great detail. Organic food protects children from exposure to toxic pesticides through their food. And we know that organic diets can rapidly reduce pesticides in children's bodies. Friends of the Earth did a really wonderful study a couple of years ago looking at pesticide residues in children's bodies, both before and after they had an organic diet. And it was really amazing to see the pesticide residue levels drop significantly after that period of having an organic diet. We know that organic production eliminates routine use of antibiotics and other drugs, particularly in meat production. And there's concern about where do those antibiotics go? Do they land in human bodies? And so when you purchase meat that has been produced organically, that means you've eliminated those antibiotics and other drugs that can get into the supply chain. Organic protects farm workers in rural communities. So we're not just concerned about our own health and human health, but we're also concerned about the people who are growing our food. And as Michael said, he wanted his staff to meet and appreciate the people who are producing the food that is coming into his school. And farm workers, we've seen so many cases of farm workers being exposed to pesticides and the negative effects on human health that pesticide exposure can have. So when we buy organic, we're not just thinking again about ourselves, but we're thinking about the people who produce the food and the environment. So organic is a climate solution. Buying organic means we're producing food that's better for the air, better for land, better for the water supply. So we're really looking at, this being a total solution for addressing climate concerns. And organic farming creates green jobs. So we're also, we need to create more green jobs to have a greener future. So organic touches on so many different concerns of our times. Let's see, I want to say one more thing about this slide here before Nora advances a couple of things on here. You can see several school districts on this California map. These are the school districts that are featured in the roadmap, and we tell their stories because their stories need to be told. They are the school districts that shared their stories so willingly because they wanted to share the examples of organic procurement and share, the trials and tribulations and the way that they navigated and began purchasing organic food for their school district. So there's a lot of great stories and examples in the roadmap. And then center of your screen, you'll see this cross section of an orange. And this is really how the roadmap is organized. We know that everybody is starting at a different place, but through our conversations with school food service directors, we noted that these are some of the major themes that schools who have been successful at procuring organic have addressed in one way or another. They have various strategies for making organic affordable. They look at how they develop partnerships. Michael talked about partnering with LunchAssist. They address their kitchen infrastructure needs, like Tahoe Truckee Unified School District has a great new kitchen infrastructure piece that has enabled them to procure more local and organic food. So through all of those wonderful interviews, we came up with this way of organizing the roadmap to help school districts learn from each other about some of the best practices. All right, Nora, you can advance me here. Great. And then, as I said, the roadmap is chock full of really practical resources. And we know that, by giving you practical resources, it makes it that much easier to make this decision to procure organic. And one of the things we've been doing and continue to do is identify distributors, suppliers, producers of organic food, and make that information available to you. Because again, if you can find somebody more easily, find somebody who delivers in your community, we know that that's going to make it an easier choice to make. So please, take some time, explore the roadmap, check out some of the distributors that are available, the producers, and see where it takes you. Next slide, Nora. Great. So one of the important pieces of the roadmap is the strategies for organic purchasing. And I can't go through all of this in great detail right now, but some of the strategies that school districts have used is prioritizing the dirty dozen. Like really, if they're going to buy 1 or 2 items, looking at that dirty dozen list and, for example, buying the organic strawberries when they're in season, because that means that by buying organic strawberries, you're alleviating the exposure of many different pesticide residues to kids who are eating those strawberries. Buying in season, when things are in peak season, the cost goes down. There's more abundance, and so there's more available. Less meat, better meat. There's a number of districts who have said, you know what, I'm just gonna have meat on my menu less frequently, but when I do have meat, I'm gonna invest in organic poultry or organic beef for my kids. And then using your entitlement dollars, which I'm going to go into in a moment. Buying in bulk, which is a great strategy. Buying, the price goes down when you buy in bulk. And then also using your general funds for those specific organic priority items. So again, I've worked with directors who are saying, you know what, whenever I serve beef, I'm going to serve organic beef, and that's it. So really using those general funds very strategically. Next slide. Great. And so Michael was featured on this call today, and we love telling Michael's story. And we also want to show that there are many other examples of school districts who have also gone down this path. And just, you name it, people have procured it. So like I said earlier, organic beef, produce, pasta, lentils, organic fruit, veggies, bulk organic milk. So there's lots of great examples of districts who have said, you know what, I'm really committed. I want to buy bulk organic milk. I'm going to do this. Of course, this is pre-COVID. Things are being worked out along those lines now. Other folks have said, you know what, we're going to grow some of our own food. So there's so many different strategies. And I just want to applaud all these districts and the others who, you can see I didn't have enough space to include more, who are doing this work. San Francisco Unified School District is even buying local and organic for their Harvest of the Month program. So that's another way in to start this process. Next slide, Nora. All right, so here's the news of the day. I'm really excited to share with all of you that Dod Fresh, I don't know how many of you, maybe you can raise your hands if you purchase fresh fruits and vegetables using Dod Fresh. I can't see you right now, so maybe other folks can on this call, but I'd love to see a show of hands. How many of you are buying through Dod Fresh? Well, I'm here to tell you that there are more than 800 school districts across the state of California. Awesome, I see a hand. Utilizing Dod Fresh to buy, very often it's local produce, but now you can use more of your entitlement dollars to buy organic produce. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how that came about, because this is an incredibly exciting opportunity for school districts across the state. So we reached out after hearing from several nutrition services directors and professionals that, I'd really like to use more of my entitlement dollars to buy organic. How can I do that when I don't see very many organic options available through the USDA programs? And we really took that to heart, and we said, you know what, we're going to reach out to the California Department of Ed, who helps school districts allocate their entitlement dollars, and find out if there's a path forward to try to get more organic foods, produce in particular, available through Dod Fresh. Well, after that call, we connected with the Dod Fresh prime vendors for Northern and Southern California, and both of those vendors were incredibly receptive. We had already seen a couple of organic items available, and already districts had been buying those. And we said, look, there's more demand out there. We know it. We just want to relay that demand to you. We believe that when districts see more organic items available, they're going to buy it. So they said yes. And I couldn't be more thrilled, because that means you can use your entitlement dollars now to buy more organic items. And the potential impact of this is huge, because we have $46 million that are being spent through Dod Fresh. So if even like a good portion of that was channeled to buying organic, it would be huge in terms of the impact on the food system. So I can't underscore how incredibly valuable this is. And I want to give a shout out to Amy Bell, who's on this call today with the California Department of Ed, for being such a great partner to us and really helping, helping to facilitate us making this happen. So here you go. This is the brass tacks, the nuts and bolts. These are the lists that are available right now. These are the organic items that are available through Coast Citrus and through Pro Pacific, who are the Northern and Southern California distributors. And I just want to encourage you to buy these items when possible. Pick one, pick two, and make your voice heard through taking your dollars and investing them, making a vote with your dollars. And the other thing that I heard really loud and clear from these distributors is that we want your feedback. If you want to see some other item on this list and sourced from an organic farm, let us know. So I just want to empower the food service directors and professionals on this call today to give that feedback, because I think it will be heard. And now, the conversation is open, and it's now up to you to continue and to make your voices heard. So thank you all so much for being on this call today. And I'm very happy to provide assistance if you want to help, if you need help navigating this new opportunity, or want to procure other organic foods and need help through, getting in touch with a new distributor or what have you. Very happy to help.
All right, so we're going to transition now to LunchAssist. Catherine, do you want to share your screen? Okay, she's given a thumbs up. Here you go.
All right. Can you see my screen all right? Okay. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having us. I'm Catherine Slomka. I'm the Director of Nutrition Development for LunchAssist, and also a former nutrition director.
And I'm Sally Spiro. I'm the Senior Advisor to LunchAssist and also a former Child Nutrition Director.
And so just to really quickly give you a brief overview, very brief, as Michael kind of shared, LunchAssist, we exist to support school nutrition professionals and just to do whatever we can to implore you guys to do what you guys do best. So that's who we are. We're a support system. Today we're going to continue this conversation of the Dod Fresh program and how you guys can purchase local and organic through DoD, and how we can also get creative with procurement when it comes to emergency procurement, the new waivers we have going on, geographic preferencing, and forward contracting. We're just here to give some creative procurement strategies. I know that might sound like an oxymoron, but you can get creative, and Sally is our biggest cheerleader for how procurement can actually be really exciting. So as most of you are aware, there are several methods of procurement. We're not going to go over all of them today, even though I'm sure you all really wanted that. But we're going to just really focus today on emergency procurement, DoD, forward contracting, and geographic preference. All right, so utilizing the DoD Fresh program, Malia's already shared about this as Michael has, about how important it is to utilize this awesome program. It's just a really great way to use your entitlement funds to be able to purchase fresh produce, and that way you can free up other cafeteria funds to use for other program needs. It's super easy to use. I'm always so shocked when I talk to directors that don't utilize this program. When I was a former school nutrition director, I used it a lot, and in fact I would oftentimes ask for more money before the sweeps happened come May, and guess what, I always got it. And it was really awesome, especially during curbside, and be able to offer larger items in bulk was really amazing. So I just wanted to really quickly show you, since not everybody on this call raised their hands that they're using DoD, I just wanted to give you a little overview just to see how easy it is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. This is what it looks like. We're going to use Morgan Hill, thank you, as an example. So you just go ahead and you log in, and you'll go here to place a new order. You'll select the site that you're going to be ordering for. And then you press your delivery date, so you can order a week or two out. And then see, it's giving you a warning that I've selected a date that I haven't already set up. So that's great. So select a different date. Well, we'll just go shopping, which is my favorite thing to do. So then, as you could see here, these are all the awesome available items. And as Michael was telling you earlier, you could see items here that are locally grown, and then shortly it'll say organic. I'm not sure when this feature is going to be available, since this is so new. So you just go ahead and you select how many cases you want per site, and at the very end you add items to cart, and then you submit your order. So as you could see, it's super easy to use, and a program that really everybody should be doing. Just wanted to give you guys a reminder that you have until December 15th to change how you receive the items. If you want to go join a co-op, if you don't have that storage, if you want to do direct shipping, you have until December 15th. I think they reminded us yesterday on the town hall update, but just to give you guys another reminder, if you do want to change how you're getting your USDA DoD fresh foods or other USDA foods, that's the deadline for you. All right, I know that was quick, but we're going to keep moving.
All right, well, another important and timely form of procurement that schools are taking advantage of right now is emergency non-competitive purchases. This can only be used in the case of an officially declared public emergency or disaster. And it can't be a surprise to anybody that we have a big disaster on our hands right now in the form of the pandemic. This is a great option for you to use when you are having significant vendor or staffing challenges. So instead of going through an extended RFP or bid situation, it's a good flexibility to use in an emergency, although it is not a long-term solution. Of course, it's still important to be specific in the language so that the rights and responsibilities of each party are protected, which is why we at LunchAssist have developed an emergency procurement template that you can use in order to be sure that you have everything in your agreement that will be helpful to you in the state of emergency. And you need to be aware that purchases or agreements made under emergency procurement must be limited in duration and last no more than 1 year. So no renewals are allowed. Catherine's going to go ahead and put in the chat if you'd like to check out our blog on emergency procurement. Forward contracting is another purchasing option that has the potential to benefit both the farmer and your district. In a forward contract, your district agrees to purchase products before they are planted. If farmers benefit from forward contracts because they now know how much and what to plant, and they don't have to worry if their product is going to be sold. It allows them to protect a stable flow of income, which is always a big plus for them. Schools benefit too. You are more likely to get what you want, and you will not be impacted by supply chain disruptions as much. This will simplify your menu planning, and there is less price fluctuation, so budgeting is more accurate. And it's also a great introduction to farm to school. So if you were going to do a forward contract, what would go in it? Let's take an example of a district that forward contracts for 200 pounds of cherry tomatoes and 100 pounds of fresh cucumbers delivered weekly to the district's central kitchen from September through December. If the contract proposal is issued in May or June, there is sufficient time for the farmers to submit pricing, and then the awarded farmer can get planted. Now we know that Mother Nature doesn't always cooperate, so the proposal might also include any allowable substitutions. Maybe the district is willing to accept zucchini in place of cucumbers at the same price. Or if cherry tomatoes are unavailable for one of the weeks, then the district will not be obliged to pay for them. Even in emergency procurement, you can still use geographic preference because it can be used in any type of procurement. There are a few important things to keep in mind. There is no predetermined definition of local. Your district determines that, although there are many tools to help you out there, to develop your own standard. The Farm to School Network has lots of resources on this topic. And even in these emergency times, geographic preference can still only be used for unprocessed items. An example might be a procurement for citrus fruits grown within 250 miles of your district office, delivered during the months of December through February. Now we're going to just take a little visit to Waiverland, and we are up to 106 waivers and a couple of new question and answer memos. Now, as everyone knows, the struggle is real with supply chain issues, and waiver 100 is a direct response to the outpouring of advocacy and concern that schools are getting deliveries in a timely way for their essential items. The waiver provides additional flexibility for schools experiencing supply chain challenges, which is basically everyone that we know. You don't need to apply for the waiver, but you do need to document the supply chain issues that you are having that prevent you from meeting the meal pattern requirements. And as long as you can show that the reason you aren't meeting the meal pattern requirement is related to supply chain issues, you can continue to claim reimbursement for meals that are not compliant with the meal pattern. And if you're getting an audit, then you will not face fiscal action. And please note that this only applies to SSO and NSLP and not to CACFP. So you kind of have to keep that in mind in your supper programs. And finally, on October 15th, we had another question and answer memo released about emergency procurement and supply chains. So you want to be sure that you have accessed that one and you'll know all the latest news. We'd like to thank you so much. We hope that we've given you some ideas you can use And remember, you can always reach out to us. I love to hear from my friends, both new friends and old friends.
Thank you so much. Let's see, make this a smooth transition. All right. Okay, hold on. All right, so I'm back. Well, thank you so much, LunchAssist, and, just for sharing. We're hoping that, we have a bunch of people here on this call that can really help provide support. So if there are any school districts that are kind of listening to this and want some extra help with this, there are tons of resources that we can get you connected with. And we will have a Zoom poll question at the very end of the webinar to really help get you connected with these various different opportunities. If you need help with contracting or connecting with suppliers and producers, or, really, like, we are here to help support you, and we really want to be helpful. So I want to shift our call to really talk about organic suppliers, and we are actually going to be featuring two different suppliers. We're really excited to be joined by Neely from Farm Fresh to You and Ben from Mary's Organic Chicken. These are two of, we know, the many producers out here there that serve organic produce or organic offerings. And I think with these suppliers, they really rose above just looking at what they are doing in terms of their practices. So we really wanted to highlight and feature them, but we know that they're not the only two producers and suppliers that are out there. So if your school district is working with a vendor or supplier that you're really enjoying right now, please go ahead and drop that in the chat. We want to be, sharing these different resources on what, suppliers and producers have worked well with you, what's been really successful. And then I think one other thing, just to kind of mention as we move into the supplier conversation, with Friends of the Earth, I think we often really support more plant-based menu offerings, just because it is better for our health and better for the planet. But with that said, I think one of our strategies is really around, as Leah mentioned, using less meat and better meat. And so if you are serving more plant-based, I think items are often cheaper to serve more plant-based menuing. And so that kind of can free up more dollars to purchase better meat and better quality meat. And so we will have Mary's Organic Chicken, which is certified organic, raised without hormones and antibiotics. They don't use GMOs. And really, this is just better for our soil health, better for pollinators and our bees, and just better overall for our environment. So that is why we are uplifting these two different suppliers here on the call. But in future, I think for anyone who's registered for this call, we will be sending out some various different plant-based vendors as well. We are actually working on a new survey for suppliers and producers around what plant-based products they have available right now, especially given the supply chain challenges that are going on. We're doing a lot of research to try to figure out who has these different products. And so we are putting together a list, and we will be sending out lots of resources following this call to better get you connected. And again, we'll have a Zoom poll to see what your interests are. So with that said, I am going to kind of move into and turn it over to Neely.
Thank you so much. This is so exciting to be here, and listening to everything that you guys have been saying really warms my heart, since I'm so dedicated to the organic industry, and feeding children organic is really important. So I work for Farm Fresh to You, and you can move to the next slide if you want to. Farm Fresh to You is actually been around since 1976 under the name of KP Organic. We've been farming organically since 1976, and we now classify ourselves as beyond organic because of the fact that the USDA standard is actually lower than the standard that we actually farm to, because our standard started way before the USDA got involved in 2000. So we were certified back in the 70s and 80s, or late 70s, under the CCOF. program, which was the only standard at the time, which is the California Certification of Farmers, which is now a certifying partner for the USDA. So not to confuse that there are two certifications anymore. But we have been in the organic industry with the mission of developing a true farm to table program starting way back when. We developed a farm network like the old network of milk delivery to cut out the middleman, bring the food directly from the farm to your door. That has been our main focus. I've been with the farm for 6 years and I come with a lot of executive background, and I really wanted to develop the experience for businesses and schools. And we have actually partnered with over 300 schools and continue to partner with 300 schools through a fundraising program. This fundraising program has raised over $140,000 to supply the schools with needed funds for all the programs that, you know, the PTA moms, the PTAs that raise these dollars from families themselves. We've actually been a really proud partner of the CSEA and the California PTA as a whole. These organizations actually reach over 900,000 households to offer a business partner benefit. And when I actually started talking to Leah, who reached out to me, I was very excited to be part of the next phase of this kind of partnership, which we would love to actually help you. We have, over the course of many years, we have developed a network of over 65 organic farms to the standard that we actually grow to, which is the Beyond Organic standard. These 65 farms are in Southern California and Northern California, and we do serve the whole state now. And we provide SoCal with SoCal farms and NorCal with NorCal farms. So we're very focused on that local aspect, local, organic, beyond organic. Our standard is why it's beyond organic, because it's not just the organic standard, it's the sustainability, it's the water management, it's the crop rotation, it's all of it. And we have been very focused and very embedded in that organic farming practices. Over the course of the years, we have actually developed a network of hundreds of artisan partners, meaning vegan-based partners, pre-made foods, meats that are clean, if those are something that you want. And we have developed, over the course of COVID, we've actually partnered with a lot more farms that really needed the help to get their food off the farm into the hands of the people during COVID. And now we feel that we've done that. We've expanded our reach and we're expanding it more to be able to offer this to schools on pre-cut options, vegan-based, plant-based meals, pre-made meals, depending on how you process or how you actually serve your food, whether it's heat and serve, whether it's cooked fully. We do have options for you, hundreds of them from local farms. And you can go to the next slide. The process to basically be able to reach out to us is contact Friends of the Earth. And we have a price list. This is just showing you a little bit about what we provide. This was just a sort of real snapshot of some smaller items, just a small list of our items, but we have loads of items that we'd love to actually work with you and quote with you. And we also do have a program that if we do, I like the program of I think you called it forward contract, which is great. It allows you to know what exactly you guys need so we could grow it, because we do have the reach of farms. So we're not one farm anymore, we're several. And we're one source, they're partners of ours. It's not like a distributor relationship. It's a little bit different because it is partnerships. So that's kind of the overview of how we've grown and where we are and how much we work with schools now. And we would love the opportunity to work with you further. And any way we can help you, just please reach out through Friends of the Earth. And we're really privileged to be able to be part of this call and this program. So I'll keep it as short as possible. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Neely. We appreciate it. And yes, for anyone who is interested, at the end of the call, we are going to have a poll. So if anyone is interested in connecting with Neely, and then we're going to be featuring Ben, if you are interested in that, we will have a poll. So stay for the poll, and then it'll just be kind of selecting which support you're looking for. And then we will follow up with you to make those connections. So with that said, I'm going to kind of shift it over to Ben. Hey, Ben.
Hi there. How's it going? Hey, everybody.
Good.
So I am joining everyone from, let's see, I'm just outside of King City. I'm not on a Mary's farm right now. I was working down in the San Luis Obispo area, and just timing wise, I'm middle on the road and had to stop so I could join the call and give a little talk to everyone. So I appreciate you guys having me and the opportunity to talk about Mary's. It was great to hear in the beginning the partnership that Mary's and Google had. It was kind of before my time with the company, but we have since grown and it's expanded. So yeah, I'll just go. I know I've got about 5 minutes, so I want to just go quickly through kind of what we do and what we could offer to school food service. So you can go ahead and advance the slide. So primarily, even though the family started out 4 generations ago as turkey farmers, I'd say the vast majority of what we produce is on the chicken side of things. So we are California based. We're in the Central Valley. That's where all of our chicken production happens. We are quite vertically integrated in that we make our own feed at our own feed mill. We hatch our own chicks. We grow our own birds. We process our own birds and we ship them out. Other kind of key features for those who aren't familiar with us, or even those who are, is that we are animal welfare certified with the Global Animal Partnership. All of the Mary's organic chicken is rated at the GAP level 3, which has I can send you out the detail on what that means in terms of the animal welfare attributes that you need to have in order to make that. Including outdoor access, enrichments within the poultry barns. Sorry if it's a little noisy here, there's some trucks. So the GAP certification is really important to us, as is the Certified Humane, another humane kind of certification that we've worked with that organization for a number of years to do that and to actually help draft some of their standards. So other features really is the, you'll see it on all of our marketing, is the air chilled. Air chilled is first and foremost, I think we do for quality and flavor, to preserve the natural flavor of the bird. 97% of all the poultry in the United States is water chilled. So that uses an incredible amount of water, incredible amount of chlorine, and really takes away the natural flavor of the poultry. So our system is not completely unique. There's a number of other plants that do it, but it is, few and far between. So air chilled poultry, just tastes better and better for the environment, especially in these times here in California with significant drought. So that's kind of the overview on chicken. We can go to the next slide. So items that are available, any kind of version of a bird whole or cut up is available. So whole birds, pre-trussed birds, if you're roasting birds, 8-way cut, 10-way cut, things like that to save time. All raw parts, including, portion control. We do a bulk drumstick meat. So just the meat off the drumstick. It's a really cost-effective item that works great for slow cooks, braises, tacos, things like that. And it's something that we have surplus of as we grow as a company with our retail partners and others. That is the one item, the one piece of the bird that we are left with extra, and would like to hopefully funnel more of that organic chicken to some kids in some school districts. We do have some bulk deli meats available, an oven roasted chicken breast, and then we are just kind of getting into some cooked products like breaded nuggets and tenders. We're working on meatballs, sausages, and chicken burger patties. So we can go to the next slide. And then, turkey is really the beginning of the Pittman family's kind of farming back in the 1920s, was raising turkeys. And so we still raise turkeys. Most of our turkey production has been moved to Utah. Our plant in California was not designed to really work for, we can do turkeys there, but it's not built for them. So we have another facility that we purchased in Utah. We raise certified organic birds out there in the Moroni Valley, about 2 hours south of Salt Lake City. That product does, all those birds do reach the animal welfare level 2 on GAP. And there are a number of items available. We do produce year round. So even though we've just been going crazy producing everything for Thanksgiving, we are growing turkeys year round. And we can go to the next slide. That'll have just a few items. So we do some fully cooked whole birds. So there's an oven roasted bird, a whole smoked turkey, cooked bone-in breast, and then obviously raw turkey items, ground turkey. There's bulk deli meats, an organic peppered turkey, and an oven roasted. And same thing, we are working currently and hope to soon offer meatballs, some turkey sausage, turkey burger patties, and a few other things like that. So, and then just to highlight sort of who we've worked with in the past, and I apologize if I'm leaving others out, I'm sure I am, but just some kind of things we've done or we are doing. San Diego Unified was a great partner of ours. We did a lot with drumsticks and with wings, and they were taking direct deliveries, which is great. We'll talk about that in a sec. And then, you know, we now working again with Oakland Unified. We had a hiatus for a few years, and we've come back. So they're taking fresh drumsticks, and then we have a lot of university partners as well. So, and then direct delivery. So we can offer it. It just needs to be looked at on a case-by-case basis. If you look at the slide there, you know, it's really our delivery routes for direct are going to be the Bay Area and Sacramento, in our neck of the woods in the Central Valley, and then Southern California. And if we can't manage direct or you can't meet the minimum that we need, then we have a list of distributor partners that you can purchase through. That's on the next slide. So Cisco, Chef's Warehouse, Gold Star, some of the bigger names, Tony's United Natural Foods. Shamrock is a new one for us. We are not quite there yet, but that's in the works right now. I just had a meeting with them last week. And then there's also some local, you know, meat purveyors, you know, regional purveyors that, you know, you could look to purchase through. And that's all I have. Yeah. So thanks for the time again. And I know if there's questions, they'll get put into the chat. And I really appreciate it and hope that we can work with some more schools. And I have 4 kids, so I know that they eat plenty of organic chicken at home, and it would be great to spread that out to more kids across the state.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you, Neely, so much for sharing. All right. So question and answer, and then we'll go back to the poll. So stay on for the poll question. So we had a lot of different questions in the chat, and I just wanted to make sure that we get to some of those questions, and we had some really amazing speakers here on the call. And so just wanting to go back, this was earlier in the call. I think, Leah, I'm wondering if maybe you can answer this question on how do you ensure that that the practices are truly organic? Critics say that organic farmers are just using different chemicals that are not detrimental, but that's ultimately not better for the non-organic. So again, just like it was a thought, not necessarily her thought, but just a critique that she's heard about the organic movement. And so wondering how you would respond to that.
Well, certainly organic certification, that is very well defined. So if somebody is certified organic, you could go and review the standards that they have to adhere to be certified organic. If they're not certified organic, you're right, it's hard to know exactly their growing practices, but oftentimes the farmers that are smaller producers who are finding organic certification to be a financial challenge, they're often very willing to have you on their farm and be transparent and answer questions. But I think for the mid-size and larger producers, organic certification is really generally the standard. And so organic standards, like I said, are very clearly defined, and hopefully that's a helpful answer. But yeah, it's a really good question.
Great. And then LunchAssist, we had a couple of questions for you all around procurement. The first question is, we purchased about $75,000 in fresh fruits and vegetables. How do we go local or organic while being compliant with procurement regulations?
Well, there's several different ways to do it. One that kind of came to my mind, although I'm sure there's more than one. That's why procurement is exciting and creative, is you could put out a bid for organic produce locally according to your definition. And you could list everything that you wanted on there, you know, apples, strawberries, whatever. You know, 5 or 10 or 20 items, however it is. And you said, well, I'm going to award line by line. So I'm going to get apples from Joe and strawberries from Mary and oranges from Nora. That's one way that you could be in compliance and still be showing that you are getting the best price. And there's other ways too. You know, if you're getting it all from one company, you still want to be sure that you have at least checked with some other companies that might give you a better deal. Another thing that you could do would be to put it out based on like a monthly price quote and say we're going to award to the one that gives us the best price quote, you know, as long as it's not exceeding a certain dollar amount. So there's different ways that you could do it and still be compliant. I guess it would depend on, you know, exactly your situation, but yeah, there's definitely ways to get local and organic products and still be in compliance with the procurement.